Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to go over everything I like on the new Blazer and everything that I don't exactly like. I'm going to change up the format for today's video. Normally I kind of like number everything out, but I'm going to do things a little bit more impromptu because I think that you guys will probably like that style a little bit more. If you don't like it for some reason, let me know, but let's get straight into the video. First off, obviously this uses the Blazer name, which is a little bit upsetting because it's not an off-road vehicle and they're using a crazy off-road vehicle's name for something that's not that. So yeah, I don't know, a little bit upsetting, but it's not a huge deal. Now the thing that I do love is the styling. This looks so cool. I'm such a fan of the Camaro styling, and this just is a Camaro looking SUV. I think it looks fantastic. I love all the sharp edges on the front end and how they have that line on the hood go to the grille. I think that's really cool from a design standpoint. And then also just all the blacked out elements on the grille. I love the LED accent lights there at the top, and I think it just looks fantastic. Now, coming to the side, I love the wheels. So they have like a satin finish here on the center portion of the wheel with the silver ring all around. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. I guess something I'll get into that I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that this is front wheel drive based. And so yeah, it has those front wheel drive driving dynamics. The all wheel drive is actually really good, but you still do get kind of like the torque steer and the tire spinning when you are in the two-wheel drive mode. And I mean, it does all the stuff a front-wheel drive car does. I think they should have made it rear-wheel drive based because it's supposed to be a sporty SUV, and sporty SUVs are not front-wheel drive based. But again, not a huge deal because it has all-wheel drive and that fixes it. I love the black molding here and how it's body painted. I think that looks fantastic. Most SUV manufacturers in this segment will just do cheap plastic. They actually painted everything. I think that looks great. And then I love how they did this black right here and then also in the back, so it makes it look like the roof is kind of floating. And then you've got the blacked out crossbars, which look fantastic as well. You guys know I don't care about logos, but at least they made it blacked out to match everything. And then the back wheel's just nice at the front. Now with the taillights, I absolutely love the look of the taillights. They have this really cool intricate design there. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that on camera. Now as for the rest of the back end, it kind of just looks like every other modern SUV. It's just all rounded off and everything, and so I mean there's not really much for me to say. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I'm pretty neutral about it. Now I wish that these were blacked out at the bottom because I mean it's just kind of like this random silver piece, but I guess they kind of match the wheels, so I guess it's got that going for it. But yeah, I don't know. Now something that's kind of weird is this is how you open up the rear hatch without the key. Is it's down there at the bottom. I was reaching up like above the license plate for the longest time, but yeah, it's at the bottom. Now, aside from that, storage space back here is fantastic. That's something I definitely love. It has a spare tire. You guys know I'm a huge fan of spare tires, so that's definitely a huge plus. And if you guys are wondering, this is all automatic, which definitely a huge plus for me. And then something else that I really like is the red accenting. Definitely a nice touch with all of the red accenting, and you even get heated seats here in the back, which is pretty cool. But notice here with the seats, you've got kind of like the red behind the seats. I think that looks really cool from a design standpoint. I guess the one thing that I would say is I wish that there was a climate zone for the rear passengers, but I mean, at least they get heated seats in the back. Legroom and everything back there is fantastic. I mean, you guys can see I'm almost 6 foot and I fit back here perfectly fine. And if you guys are wondering, I've actually grown like ½ an inch since I started this channel. It's kind of a weird world we live in, but close that. Then opening here at the front. So overall, I mean, it's pretty basic with the design, but at least it's got like the nice red accenting and all of that. There's nothing to really go home about. I don't know. Coming to the front seats, I love these. I love the look of the front seats. Just the overall design, again, looks fantastic with the red accenting. All of that is great. And yeah, we'll actually pop in so we can kind of go over some more stuff. Start her up. So first off, steering wheel, great. All the controls are really easy to use. The cruise control works fantastic. It's got a heated steering wheel, which is another nice little feature. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty normal, so I guess that could be something going against it. Some people might want something a little bit different, but I like the fact that everything's normal and accessible and easy to use. Now coming here to the gauge cluster, it's pretty cool. Like, it shows you a bunch of information here in the center, but it doesn't really do anything groundbreaking, I guess. But I mean, I guess that's kind of like a point to this and against it, right? It doesn't do anything groundbreaking, which is against it. But then it's really easy to use, and it's just like you're comfortable with it because you're just kind of like used to setups like this. I do think it looks kind of weird though with like the half screen, half analog gauge. Definitely interesting. Coming over here to the infotainment system, Obviously, there's other manufacturers that are doing larger infotainment systems, but I love this infotainment system from a response time perspective. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay work fantastic. I guess they could integrate wireless Apple CarPlay. That would be cool. But again, not a deal breaker for me personally. One thing that's random is the glove box thing. I still haven't figured this out. Like, it's a cool gimmick, but then, like, I can imagine people get into this and, like, obviously it's labeled, but then they might be reaching over here for quite some time before they realize there's a button that opens it up. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a negative thing, but it's just kind of weird. Love the climate controls, absolutely love them. I love this that you do to change the temperature with the vents, just so cool. This is all pretty normal. I guess one complaint I would have here is with the drive mode select. It's kind of like, notice that, I mean, it just takes a second to go over in the drive mode. Not exactly a huge fan of the actuation, but I mean, again, not really a big deal. I love the wireless phone charging pad, absolutely love it because it holds your phone in place. I've had a few cars now at this point that just don't have wireless phone charger pads that hold your phone in place, and they're useless. This, you can actually charge your phone. I guess something going against it is, like, this is all plastic. Like, you have nice leather and stitching right here on the edge of the dash, and then it just abruptly, like, it's, look at that, it just ends. It's like 2 inches, if that. And then just all plastic, so I guess that's a downside. And then this has the camera mirror system, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm a huge fan of that. You guys know, just an awesome piece of safety tech. And then I guess I gotta mention this because I showed it in my review. Notice we have a sunroof here on the depiction. We ain't got no sunroof in real life. False advertising. No, I'm just kidding. I thought I mentioned that because that's funny. But again, camera mirror, absolutely fantastic. And then from a price point perspective, I feel like it's pretty reasonable, right? This is a nice fully loaded techie SUV. It's about $48,000, which, I mean, is about the same price as what you'd get for a Grand Cherokee that is similarly equipped, but the Grand Cherokee is not going to have all the tech stuff that this has. And I mean, I'm not like pro Chevy for any reason. Like, I like all the manufacturers for different reasons, but like the current Grand Cherokee, I haven't obviously been in the 2022 because they haven't like sent those dealerships yet, but the current Grand Cherokee isn't nearly as like cool looking in the interior, if that makes sense. So like, this definitely feels like, I guess, nicer is a good way for me to put it. But I will mention my last kind of point that's a downside against this, and that is the powertrain. So this is very competitive with the Grand Cherokee because the Grand Cherokee has a 3.6 liter V6, which I guess that we should go pop the hood for this point. And this also has a 3.6 liter V6. Now we gotta walk over here. I think this has struts. I can't remember that. I literally just reviewed it and I can't remember. Yes, it does. So we have this naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6, has just over 300 horsepower. And most people that buy Grand Cherokees get the 3.6 liter V6 with that vehicle as well. And so this is as competitive. But with the Grand Cherokee, you can also get a 5.7 Hemi and a 6.4 Hemi. I think they should throw the 5.3 V8 and maybe even the 6.2 into this as like performance variants. I think that would be pretty cool. I just wish there were more engine options. You have this and then the 2.0 turbo, and that's it. That's all you get as an engine option. I think they should offer more options, and obviously it'd be more expensive. But again, most people are going to get the V6 in this car, so I understand why they don't offer the other engine options, because there wouldn't be that many people purchasing it. But I still think that they should do it, because it would be, I mean, think about this. Think about this car that weighs only about 4,000 pounds with a 5.3 V8 or with a 6.2 V8. It would be an absolute monster. Now, that's going to sum things up for all the things that I like and the things that I don't necessarily like with the new 2021 Chevy Blazer. Overall, it is a great daily driver SUV. It has more than enough power, has the all-wheel drive capability so that you can drive it in all 4 seasons. And yeah, like I said, it's a great SUV overall, but nothing is perfect. And so hopefully that helped you guys out if you're looking into purchasing a Blazer. I'll see you guys.